From your experience, is homophobia more prevalent in the hockey community than in other areas in your life?
Yes.
When you think back to your playing days, do you remember things that kind of make you cringe?
There was definitely some language. I'm sure I was guilty of it too, but I was confused at the time. And if I could go back and be an 18-year-old self playing junior hockey, I definitely would have changed some things that I did back then.
As a closeted gay man working an executive role at Hockey Canada, was there something about hockey culture that maybe held you back a little bit from being your truest self?
I had this internal angst that, oh my God, I'm gonna lose my career. I can't work in hockey. It's all these old men that, they don't accept me, and there's no way I can be successful in the game and be openly gay. But in fact, it's quite the opposite.
So in the 12 plus years you're at Hockey Canada, you developed these incredibly close relationships with the Morgan Rileys, the Tyson Barries, the Connor McDavids. When you're reaching out to them to say, I've got some news, what are those conversations like?
I started by obviously coming out to them and then asking them what they thought the hockey world would think. Those superstars were like, this is great. I think the hockey world's ready for this, and we've got your back. I think it was a call from actually Bayne Pettinger that said, hey, Connor told us your news. We're super thrilled for you. I think you could really do something with it.
The day your story came out, November 5th, 2020 at The Athletic, what was that day like?
I remember I didn't sleep much that night, and the article came out about 5 a.m. and I broke out in hives. I've never been allergic to anything, and my whole back was just like, my body just went through this like shock almost, but I think that's just shedding the 33 years of, this angst and this anxiety that I had. Once the article came out, I was overwhelmed with the outreach. I had people from all over the world say, hey, as an LGBTQ fan of hockey, you've brought me back to the game because now I can identify with someone in the game. As a youth hockey player in Quebec, I'm gonna now tell my team because I know that Connor McDavid and Sidney Crosby are okay with someone being gay in hockey. So now, everyone asks me the next thing is a player ready to come out, and that would be the next frontier.
Do you believe there's currently gay players in the National Hockey League?
Yes, I do. I think the numbers, they don't lie. I'm not trying to put the pressure for someone to actively come out. I'm just saying that if they are considering it, it's more than accepting.
I want to ask you, what impact do you think it would be the day we see an NHL player come out?
I think it would be huge for the youth, because there is players that are coming up. Maybe the next, NHL superstar or points leader or Stanley Cup MVP is gay. And he may think that there isn't a spot for him in the game because there is no one ahead of him that has done that. The NHL players that I've talked to would be willing and accepting and embracing of an openly gay teammate.
Ben, what would be some of the roadblocks that a professional player might consider before taking the step you've taken?
I think it's the pressures of, your contract, first of all, not that an NHL club would ever breach that if a player came out. And then a second to that would be endorsements. These players make a lot of their revenue, not only from their contracts, but also from endorsements. And unfortunately, there's some brands out there that may not react kindly to having an openly gay athlete, which is sad to say, with such a short earning window for these players. I think that's definitely a roadblock for them.
When we talked about doing this interview, you said, my goal is to make hockey accessible to everyone, from the executive level all the way down to the fan level, et cetera. How do you accomplish that?
It's about bringing everyone together and making them feel included, that hockey is for them. And I know the NHL uses that slogan, hockey is for everyone, but I think you have to live it too. It's one thing to print it on a t-shirt or a towel, but you have to be involved in it.
Ben, you've made it clear your journey's been really overwhelmingly positive, but some of the people who've reached out to you that you don't know have cited, it's more challenging for them. What sort of challenges have they faced?
Everyone's story is different, and just to those that are struggling, whether it's a disownment from a family member or anxiety or suicidal thoughts, knock on wood, that you can come out the other end and be okay and live your true life and be happy.
There are going to be people who watch this interview and say, well, why are we talking about this guy's sexuality? Who cares? What's your response?
Because I think there's not enough visibility yet in it. Sports is kind of the last frontier, and hockey specifically. Whether it's journalism like yourself or media or a player or an official or you name it. Everyone thinks hockey is just players, but there's so many careers around hockey. I want to help champion that to say that it's okay. You can be knowledgeable and know the game and be successful in it and happen to be gay.